Jeep Gladiator Aftermarket cold air intake. Is it worth it? And what do they do? Well, good morning everybody. How are you today? Pretty good here. Let's talk about the Jeep Gladiator Aftermarket cold air intake. First of all, let me show you what it is in case you haven't seen it before. This one in particular happens to be the S&B cold air intake. I've installed this both on the Jeep Gladiator here and also the version for the Toyota Tacoma back there. First of all, why do you put them on? Well, there are several claims out there about these. One, that they'll increase fuel efficiency. I have not found that to be true. Second is that they'll increase horsepower. I may have noticed a slight difference, but it might all be in my head. I'm not sure about that. If you pin me down and maybe definitively give you an answer, I would say no, that's not true. So what the heck is the point of them, right? Well, I've done a couple of them. Let's start actually on the one with on my wife's Jeep Wrangler back here. This one actually was on my Gladiator originally. This is the AIRAID cold air intake. And you can see already there's a little bit of difference as far as the presentation for the air filter area itself, right? Now, this one is going to give you more sound. This one I really like from the sound standpoint. Gives you a little bit more throaty growl when you get on the gas. No drone, nothing crazy, nothing that's going to drive you nuts, but just a nice little deep throaty sound when you're going down the road. As I mentioned, the big difference for this one for me is this cover, the treatment of the appearance of it, I guess, the aesthetics. It does have the little window here. You can see down there where the filter is, and this does have the red filter in it, I guess. The other difference in this one, you'll notice there is no lid or anything on this that comes off. Obviously this part would, but you'd have a hard time getting the filter out of there, right? This one, to change the filter, you actually have to unbolt the side of it here. There's a bolt here, and then two more down below. Now, how you actually reach those? Good luck. I mean, you could finagle a screwdriver down there, I suppose, but you really almost have to take the hose off, the tubing off here, and slide it a little bit forward to be able to change that filter. I'm not digging that. I don't like that. So let's go out, take a look at what I have on mine. Again, as I mentioned, this is the S&B cold air intake. You can see already has this nice big lid on top, right? Love the presentation of it, the appearance of it. Obviously, I can see the filter in there, be able to tell if it's clean or if it's dirty or if there's any critters living in there. Hopefully, nothing's looking back at me. Anything can get in here on the side, right? Nice big area here to suck the air in for your motor. But the benefits to this one, you do get a throatier sound when you're on the gas, once again. Also, there is no drone or anything crazy like that. But it doesn't give you as much sound as what the AIRAID does on my wife's back here. And I gotta say, if I'm being honest, and I was only going for sound, definitely would go with the AIRAID. It just gives you a little bit deeper, richer, throatier sound when you're on the throttle. Now, this one, as I mentioned, does have this nice big lid on it. And there are screws in the top here. That's what holds it on. And you may have already guessed, to change the filter is very simple. You just remove these 4 screws. And I just did this recently in a video on the channel. But you remove the 4 screws, loosen the clamp, and then you can pull the filter right off. You can do it all right up here from the top. You don't have to do anything on the sides here like you have to do with the AIRAID. That is definitely a benefit in my opinion. Now, how often do you have to change these? Depends on your conditions, really. I just changed this one. I had about 5,000 miles, a little over 5,000 miles on it. It was rather dirty, so I opted to go ahead and change it. These filters are not cheap. This cost me, after shipping and, well, no shipping, but tax, about 78 bucks. The one on my wife's back here, the AIRAID version, is a little bit cheaper at around 65 bucks. Either way, they are not cheap. Easy to change on this one, more difficult to change on that one. As far as the tubing goes, pretty much the same presentation. You have the sensor and all that stuff, the wire that goes in over there. This is a vacuum tube. And then clamping onto the engine itself there. Not a big deal. Installation is pretty simple on both of these. I would rate them equal as far as that goes. One thing I will mention on the AIRAID version, let's take a quick look at this. This did give me fits. Here where the mass airflow sensor goes in, there is a grommet that for some reason they do not put in for you. You have to put this in, and that was a bear. Probably took me 15-20 minutes just to put this rubber grommet in this hole. Very, very tight, very, very difficult to do. I don't know why. So I guess the install as far as that part goes would definitely go to the S&B. The grommet that they give you here right in this area was much simpler to put in. Otherwise, I would probably call them equal. Cost wise, I'll leave a link down below to both. You can check that out. Current pricing and availability. I know when I got the S&B for the Gladiator, there was a lead time on it. I think it probably took about, seems to me it was 2, 3, even 4 weeks, something like that, to get mine. But that's when this whole world situation started, and I think things have kind of normalized or equaled out a little bit, so I don't think the lead time is probably as long. Which one would I recommend? Depends on what you're going for. If you're like me and the main drive behind doing this was aesthetics, it's got to go to the S&B. The presentation on this thing is just awesome. I love the way that it looks. If you're going for sound, then you definitely have to go with the AIRAID, because you're going to get more volume, more throaty sound out of that setup than this one. Leave a comment, let me know if you have one of these intakes or maybe even another. What do you think of it? And have you noticed any power or fuel economy gains? I'd be curious to know. Also, real quick, if you're interested, I have 2 other channels. One is Rob Motive, all about my 2020 Toyota Tacoma, which, as I mentioned, does have an S&B cold air intake in it as well. Love it in that truck. Don't get quite as much sound out of it in that truck as I do this one, but still nice to have. My other channel is Rob Motive Civic, all about my adventures with the Honda Civic Sport hatchback and the Honda Civic Type R. Check them out. If you like them, please consider subscribing. Don't forget to click that notification bell so that you don't miss out on any upcoming videos. And do me a favor, smash that subscribe button on the way out. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.